This presentation series discusses the National Security Strategy released in December 2017 by the National Security Team of President Donald J. Trump. As a reminder, I'm not representing any official Air Force or any other U.S. government positions. This is my own analysis. This is an academic exercise. This presentation has three parts, and the first was a background and major elements of the National Security Strategy. Here we're going to focus on the historical context, and next we'll focus on the National Security Strategy in relation to the current and prospective future security environments. So, looking at the 2017 National Security Strategy in context, how does it compare with previous strategies? A word cloud is a device to pull forward what is frequent in a body of text. Here, I compare President Trump's cloud with the first National Security Strategy produced by President Ronald Reagan 30 years before. Both are Republicans who tend to emphasize freedom, but here we see, in fact, quite different views. Ronald Reagan's strategy focuses on America's liberty as tied to others. In Trump's strategy, it is untethered. American values are fine for Americans, it seems to say, but we are not responsible for the rest of the world. It takes an instrumental view of relationships, a more transactional approach to foreign policy. Looking at the instruments of national power, Reagan emphasizes the I, or informational instrument, the example of American values, as the most important element. Trump emphasizes instead the E, or economic power, a militarized economic power with words like energy dominance. In the D for diplomacy, Reagan emphasizes alliances. For Trump, even multilateral fora are arenas for the United States to, quote, compete and lead. As for the military, or M, both seek to lead from a position of strength. They invest in military instruments. But for Reagan, this requires support to friendly regimes, while Trump focuses on direct action. Now let's compare to the 2015 Obama strategy that this one replaces, just a couple of years before. What words jump out? What is different and what is the same? Obama emphasizes words like global, institutions, leadership, and health. Trump, as you may note, puts America first, all right. There is more reference to nuclear capabilities, and he replaces that term violent extremist with jihadist. Looking at the top 10 most frequent words in order of frequency, we see some common themes. I've colored in blue, of course, the common themes of the United States or America. In green are economic themes. These are not new to the National Security Strategy. But references to Soviet or Russia drop off. And in purple are references to the world, international and global, which varies quite a lot. I was curious about some other terms that I chose unscientifically because they're of interest to me, and I've put them here in alphabetical order. We see that in early strategies, there were lengthy discussions about arms control, but this drops off. Non-state actor references are on the rise. In purple here for the United Nations, we see something of a rise and fall. But in blue, now representing peacekeeping, we see it's not mentioned once in the 2017 strategy. In the middle, immigration is a big anomaly, a focus for Trump, and indeed before that, for President Barack Obama. In green, for taxes, we see something very unusual. In fact, the 2017 strategy has a surprisingly large percentage of content devoted to domestic issues. Elliot Cohen, writing in The Atlantic, also noted that the strategy throws in, quote, all kinds of policies that have nothing to do with national security. The administration was working with Congress on their tax plan at the time, so it was clearly on their minds as they were writing the strategy. But looking across time, what causes these changes? Focusing on one set of issues over time, I look here at the Soviet Union or Russia. Reagan's concern was the Soviet attainment of parity in strategic weapons. But George H.W. Bush was concerned about the breakup of the Soviet Union, citing the American diplomat George Kennan. The language goes from uncertain to hopeful as Russia reemerged as a power. In 2015, Russia is mentioned for its aggression. And in 2017, Russia is, together with China, part of the 4+1 model, presented as a competitor to the United States for power and influence. To wrap up, in the first presentation, I outlined the contours of the America First National Security Strategy and its relationship with the 2018 National Defense Strategy. And in this talk, we looked at the National Security Strategy in relation to others. In the next short talk, we'll look at the National Security Strategy in relation to current and possible future security environments. This might be a good time to reflect. Do you see shifts in worldview? What do you think is behind them?